Three, one, two, three, go for Vicky Lamara!
Woo! Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hello. I can see a lot of happy faces on the Zoom tonight, and I'm assuming that is because we're all very happy that the kids are back at school today. Yes! Oh my God. If there is one thing that I've learned throughout this pandemic, apart from the fact that I'm going to staple my vagina together so I don't have to have any more children, is the fact that I'm really fucking thick. Because my son, you think kids are going to ask like really deep philosophical questions, but no, he doesn't ask, where do we come from? What is life? You know what I mean? He asks questions that everyone wants to know the answer to. Like, Mummy, why do goats have beards? It's like, right, what do you do with that? But we Googled it, and I'm here to educate you now. Goats have beards because they're all hipster twats. If you're offended by that, take it up with Google, not me, because they said it. But I am really glad to be part of the Google generation because our folks needed to actually know shit. I don't have to know anything. I can just hop to Google and fucking ask them, you know what I mean? School's different to what it was like when I was a kid. Obviously, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but my son loves art. And yes, I have a child. And he drew a picture the other day, and I think we can all safely say that it is a bit shit, but you're not meant to tell them that. But he drew a garden. It's his depiction of a garden, and if you can see, he's got. This is how he explained it to me. It's like he's got his park there, which is really nice. He's got the pool, so we can go for a swim, and then we've got the doorway to the underworld. And I've got to be honest, that did concern me a bit, and I had to try and break the news to him that we're not going to find that on Rightmove. Another thing that the school does is they send home really silly questions, like, if Patricia has 17 apples and David is hoovering the stairs, how many times can your nutty neighbour Neville strip and run down the street naked, clutching a Bible before he gets tasered by the police? It's like, turns out the answer is 12, and we're moving house. He watches a lot of YouTube, my son. He mainly watches videos of other kids playing games, and I sort of asked him, why do you do that? Why don't you just play the game yourself? And he said, well, if I watch it, it makes me better at it. And I sort of kind of understood his logic, but I watch crime channels all the time, and I'm really shit at getting rid of dead bodies. So I'm not too sure that works. Obviously, the homeschooling has been hard for everybody. I have actually, and I'm afraid to admit this, but I have contemplated adoption because I look at my son and I think he deserves better. I've got friends who've adopted, so I've spoken to them. I've spoke to the local adoption centre, and it turns out that no one wants to adopt a 34-year-old manic depressive with abandonment issues. So my son is stuck with me for a little bit longer. I mean, obviously, if you hadn't noticed, I'm a bit mental, or as I like to identify as, neurologically diverse. It does sound a lot less like threatening. It's like, I'm not going to be licking windows and wearing one of them coats that let you hug yourself. But if you do piss me off, just keep an eye on your toothbrush, because I may or may not use it as a toilet cleaner. Or if it's electric, I might even use it as a vibrator, but don't tell anyone I suggested that. Obviously, people are dating through the lockdown. I've dated a little bit through lockdown, but my first ever date was when I was 12. I know I started late, and I met this lad, Jack. He was gorgeous, and we met on the paper round, because that's where you met in our village. And we sort of, I bigged myself up, got his phone number. I was really excited. And then I thought, right, I'll go home, I'll write a script, because I am a bit socially inept. So I was like, write a script to ring him. What I didn't fathom was that his mother might answer the phone. I shut myself, I panicked, and long story short, me and Beverly went on a lovely date. She took me to the park, we had pizza, we had milkshake, it was everything you'd ever dream of. Often people ask me, and by often I mean never, why I'm single. And I used to think it was because I was mental. I used to think it was because I was left-handed. I used to think it was because I didn't forward that chain email to 10 of my closest friends 5 years ago. But it's actually because I am a millennial. Now, if I talk about millennialism, it can kind of get a bit awkward because I'm an elder millennial and I don't quite like that. But I'm scared that we're going to get to a point where people are just communicating through.